I scaled my marketing agency from 0 to 20K per month in about a year, and I would dedicate about 90% of the success to this exact sales process that I'm going to show you in this video. So enjoy. Yo, so here's my sales data from the past 30 days, and as you can see right there, it says almost 37% close rate, 20 demos, 34 demos booked, and then 7 clients closed, almost 9K with the upfront cash, and then over 18K in the contract value. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact sales process A to Z that I follow to be able to close at 35+% closing rate for my SMMA. I'll break down the scripts, the process, reminders, follow-ups, basically everything I do and how it looks like for me, and hopefully will help you convert more people and close more deals, make some money. First of all, I want to make a disclaimer, and you've seen the close rate right now, it's about 37%, but I don't want you to get too caught up in the numbers here because closing rate is a pretty arbitrary number and it doesn't matter that much as a lot of gurus preach it. Because to give you an idea, for the past 30 days, I haven't been taking much outbound calls, probably because I was lazy, not a lot of time, etc. Right? So what that means is we got less demos scheduled, but the intent was also higher. For example, if we take the data from the previous month, like the month before that, the close rate probably will be less. Maybe it was like 25%. I'll have to double check, right? Because obviously we got more people in, the quality was a bit lower, we disqualified way less people. So it really depends. But essentially, the only metric that matters at the end of the day is not your closing rate, but the return on investment you get. To be more precise, is your CAC to LTGP ratio, which is cost per acquisition, like how much do you pay to acquire a customer, versus the lifetime value or lifetime gross profit of this customer. Eventually, this is the only metric that matters. It doesn't matter if you close at 10% or at 50%, right? Obviously, the only thing that changes is the better you get, the more time you will save, but it doesn't matter as much in the big picture. Eventually, what matters is how much money you make from it. Every single time, my sales process starts with a triage call. Basically, what that means is it's like a small intro. So we do a 2-call close, and we do kind of NEPQ style, but a bit more adapted to the agency specifically. For those of you who don't know, NEPQ is the program. It's methodology created by Jeremy Miner. So shout out to this guy. It's a pretty in-depth. I've been to this through their program. It's pretty high level, so I could definitely recommend that. And the first call is a triage call. Usually it lasts about 7, maybe to 12, 15 minutes. And the whole purpose of this call is to qualify them, make sure that your solution matches their problem, and to get them curious enough to schedule a demo with you and actually show up. So you might have seen some of the examples of both the triage calls and the demo calls before my channel, but every single call I start with just a regular phone conversation. Doesn't matter if the lead is outbound or inbound. And for those of you who don't know, the inbound lead is the person that books a specific time on your calendar, but the outbound lead is the person that opted in through a funnel, responding to an ad, respond to a cold email or cold DM, but did not book a call specifically. So they don't expect for you to call at a specific time. And so the first part of the triage call is the connection phase. The whole purpose of this phase is just to establish the connection with the prospect, make sure they're open, they keep their guard down, and they actually are open to a conversation with you. Now, when I say build rapport, I don't mean to speak about whether or what team won last night. It doesn't matter. It's too cheesy, right? But it's basically just to have a little bit of a small talk, like just a tiny one. How are you doing? Can you see me? Can you hear me if it's a Zoom call? What's going on with you, etc. But then just going straight to the point. So here's how I like to start my intro calls. What I say is, hey man, I saw you responding to one of our ads, or I saw you spoke with one of my colleagues via email. I guess what was it that kind of attracted your attention? So it's just an open-ended question and they can tell me whatever they want to tell. So just, we can basically direct the conversation in the right way pretty much off the bat. As soon as they tell me, I go straight to the situation phase. And this is the phase where I just want to get a bit more facts about their business. Nothing emotional, pretty surface level, but just to get the facts and the input on their business. I ask questions such as like, how many projects do you usually handle? I'm in the home improvement / AEC space. I ask them about the capacity, how many more can they handle? I ask them how many leads or how many inquiries are they getting per month right now? Just the basic stuff. For example, what have they been using to basically get those projects and get those leads? For me to get a better picture on the company to see if we can even help. The next step from there, and it's called the problem awareness phase. And the goal of this problem, it's self-explanatory, is just to get them to realize that there is probably a problem here. And so what I ask is, as soon as I ask them, okay, so could you tell me more about like what have you been using to get the projects and get the leads, and they tell me X, Y, and Z, what I say usually is, well, I mean, are you like 100% satisfied with like the results you've been getting from that? Or do you like the results you've been getting from that? And what it does, it just makes them think about their situation and, okay, do I actually like it? You know, a lot of times you'll be like, well, no, because, and this is where obviously why I'm speaking with you right now. But this helps you as a salesperson, but most importantly, them to realize that, oh, they probably actually have a problem and they probably need a solution. After I ask the problem awareness questions and I see that we can actually help this person and they're actually quote unquote qualified, I don't like this word, but whatever, then I do a quick transition to a demo call. So I say, hey man, based on what you've told me, it looks like what we have might actually work out for you possibly. And so what I can do for you is we could set some time aside for like a quick Zoom call sometime this week, maybe tomorrow, like on Friday. And I'll be just happy to, kind of visually, like I'm a visual guy, just show you what it actually looks like, how we get the clients, blah, blah, blah. Would that be appropriate? And as soon as usually they say yes, and we go ahead and book a Zoom call for tomorrow. And what I say right at the end is, by the way, before the call, I'll go ahead and send you some more information on the company. It's like a quick document, has a video of me explaining the process, which is basically a VSL. Would you be able to go over this call just to make sure you can save yourself some time? The reason I do that is I know that the person that watches my VSL and reads the document we send them is way more qualified and solution and brand aware than just a random person that hasn't heard about it, about us, at all. As soon as we pick the time, I say, cool man, I'll send you all the info, speak to you soon. I hang up and this is it when it comes to the triage. Well, here comes the Zoom call, AKA the demo call. And I usually start the call pretty chill, pretty like low key, like, hey man, can you hear me? Can you see me? Awesome, how are you doing? I remember the chat we had yesterday or 2 days ago. And I guess I kind of have like a brief idea of what you might be looking for. As soon as I say this, usually I ask them if they did their homework. I guess, yeah, man, I sent you a quick document. Did you get a chance to read it? And if yes, then I say, cool, man, what are your thoughts? And if he says no, I try to be like a bit playful here. I'm like, oh man, I mean, what are we gonna do with you? Like, I think we'll forgive you this time. We'll not feed you to the wolves. So we're kind of just being a bit playful here. So as soon as I say this, I always ask them the same question, which is, in my opinion, is just a very good transition question between problem awareness and solution awareness stages. And this question is, hey man, I guess help me understand. I mean, what is kind of the main sort of reason you might be even looking for some help with getting more projects now? I guess instead of just keeping doing what you have been doing. And so what it does is it just makes the flow of the conversation very natural, and it makes this transition from the beginning of the call to me asking the questions and going deeper. It just makes it very, very natural. Once they answer this question, I want to ask them a bit more about the specifics, about the tangibles. So what I say sometimes is I go like, cool man, in terms of the projects, right? I guess what will be the ideal amount of projects for you to handle maybe per year, maybe per month? I'm just trying to find the numbers. Ideally, it's revenue. Sometimes I just say, okay, cool man, what is the revenue, right? But sometimes I do like, cool man, how many projects are you handling? How many projects would you like to handle? And what is one project to you? And I just do the math. I'm like, so it turns out you're making about 50K per month. Is that right? No, it's more like 30. I get those numbers. As soon as I get those numbers, what I ask them is I go like, cool man, I guess before kind of speaking with me, before seeing the ad, before getting the email, I mean, have you been out there looking for some sort of a way to kind of get to 50K per month? Or I guess what have you been doing, if anything? If they say yes, I go like, okay, what have you tried before? And what it does is it just gives me more leverage in the presentation stage. Because if they say, oh, I've tried Facebook ads, doesn't fucking work. I mean, I'd rather handle this right now than after I already give him the price and he throws an objection. And well, if they say, oh, I haven't tried anything, I'm gonna ask them why, because it's like a red flag. I mean, so you're telling me you've been running the company for 5 years and you haven't spoken with anybody to get the projects. Like, why do you think now is a better time for that? And I'll literally ask them that. After this one, I want to get a bit more specific into what they will be looking for in a vendor to help them with marketing. So I just asked them, cool man, when it comes to a potential cooperation with like a company like this, right? I guess what will be important to you? And if they're confused, they're like, I don't know, you tell me. I say, well, look man, like sometimes just, some clients, they come to us because they want like just the highest quality of the leads. Like if the project is less than 2 mil, they wouldn't even speak to the person, which I get it, right? But some clients, they come to us because they have a fairly big sales team and they can actually handle the volume. So for them, it's like literally just getting more leads. I mean, for some clients, they just value the communication aspect where every single day they can text me on WhatsApp, we can jump on Zoom calls every week. So out of those, what do you think will be important maybe like to you though? And usually they'll just go into one of the buckets. Usually it will be, oh, I want the quality, right? And so once again, it gives me more leverage in the presentation stage. I'll just repeat back what they've told me. I'm like, and this is what we do to make sure that, the quality is in place because how you said X, Y, and Z. What I want to find out next is, and sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't, is I want to expand the gap a bit. Because if they tell me I'm making 50K, I want to make 70K, it's not that big of a deal. So what I do is like, come on, I know you said you want to get to 70K, but I mean, is it like a humble goal? So I almost like try to downplay it so that they will upplay, like, oh no, man, I want to make, way more, like how much more? And he'll say, well, maybe, 100K, 500K, whatever, right? So, but now the gap is bigger. Now I know, okay, they want to make 50, they are making 50K, but they want to make 200K. So it's already bigger. And another thing it does is it allows me to ask the next question a bit more smooth. And the next question is, cool, man, I guess let's say we actually were able to come in and, help you get the higher quality clients so that you get to 200K within the next couple of months. I think it's pretty doable in your situation, right? So once you get there, I mean, what would that extra income kind of allow you to do maybe differently than it is right now though? Like maybe for the business or, maybe even like even for you personally, I guess. And so what I want to do here is I want to go more in depth into the emotions, because people buy with emotions. They don't buy with logics. And usually they tell me something, oh, I want to expand my business, want to hire more people, get more staff, which is a relatively surface answer. So I want to go kind of more in depth. And what I do sometimes is, so they give me an answer about the tangible thing, like what they'll do with the business. And then I want to find out what they'll do in their personal life. So tangible business, tangible personal. For example, I'll go on vacation. I'll spend more time with kids. And then I ask them emotional question about the personal thing. So for example, it could look like this. What would you do? I'll hire more people, right? But I guess for you personally, I mean, what would that kind of mean to you though? Like, what would you do for yourself? Will we buy like a Lambo? It can be a bit playful here. And they'll go like, oh no, I think I'll just take more vacations. I'm like, oh, what would you go? Oh, Bali, whatever. And what I do next is I go like, cool. And I guess being able to actually travel more and kind of, see your family, as you said. I mean, I guess what would that make you feel, man? Or I something like this. I'm not the best in asking those emotional questions, so I sometimes contextualize it, which is a topic for another video. It's like, if you're not that good at tonality, you can just make the question make sense, but it's a completely different topic. I did this sometime. I can make a whole video on this stuff. So after they give me this response, usually they are at the emotional high. Obviously, if I've done it properly. Obviously, not every call is the best. Sometimes I make mistakes, but ideally, they are on the emotional high. And I want to just take them all the way down to the bottom, because I want them to realize that the situation they're in right now is actually pretty bad. And this is a reality. I'm not making it up, like it's true. But I can't do it immediately, because if I do this, it will almost feel like it's unrealistic. They'll be like, no, it definitely will happen, because they've been there. They can't just go all the way down to the bottom. So I gotta take them back to the reality first. We gotta get to the middle ground. And how I do this, I'm like, cool, man. But I guess with the way that you kind of get your leads and get your projects right now, though, I mean, how much time do you think it will kind of take you till you actually get to the point where you can take time off, take vacations? And I just repeat what they told me. So I kind of ask them like a question about the reality. And they're like, man, it probably will take ages. Or usually they say it will not happen. I can ask why, but usually I know why. And what I do next is then from this point, I can get them to the bottom. So like, come on, but I think it's just my belief that it's important to explore like the other side of the coin as well. So I guess, have you thought what happens if like the situation just kind of stays the same for another like 1, 2, 3 years, where it's just slow down, it's referrals, and it's just not ideal. I mean, what happens if it just stays the same though? And like, if I could only ask them one question during the whole sales interaction, it will be this question. It's called the consequence question, because it's usually just the most powerful thing you can imagine. Because they're like, bro, if I'm not doing this, I'm fucked. Like, this is the goal of it. And after us, the consequence question, we are done with the engagement stage, and this was the hardest part. Like, just so you know, if you've done everything properly, like, they're already sold. And this is the goal. Like, obviously later will be the presentation, but at this point they already need to be sold if you've done everything properly. What I do then is I do a transition to the presentation. I go like, cool, man, we absolutely can help you, because remember how with the triage I told them we can possibly help you. I don't want to be assumptive, right? But here right now, I want to be certain. I want to be like, man, we absolutely can help you, and here's why. What I do then is I say, cool, man, I can just kind of pull up my screen, show you the process, and we can just talk about possible next steps. And so from there, I just go to the presentation. Now, I'm not making the presentation like the NEPQ way, because what I've realized, and also Tony Lee actually helped me to realize that on the call, shout out Tony, that people that buy marketing, they are sometimes still a bit logical. So I've included the case studies on the presentation, and it actually gives them like a bit more, a better idea of what exactly will be happening. So, but still, even with this, my presentation is not longer than like 7 to 10 minutes usually, because I want to keep them at the emotional high. At this point, like all I can do is I can just, undersell them, because if I've done the engagement stage properly, they're already sold. So I just need to kind of do my thing, and this is the most scripted part of all of them. I just walk and put a presentation, makes like small temperature checks, and that's it. So after that, I just tell them the price, and from there we just figure out how to proceed. Obviously, if they throw any objections, I try to overcome that. If I can't do this, we schedule the second call, and let me know in the comments if you'd like me to record a video specifically on the objections, because it's just completely a different topic. But this is pretty much it. So I wrap up the presentation, I pitch the price, obviously I go for a close on the call, take the credit card, process the payment. If something stays on the way, then I just schedule a follow-up call, always take any sort of commitment, sometimes to take deposits. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So from there, the deal is closed, and we're onboarding them. And well, this is the exact sales process that I follow to make sure I can close my SMMA deals at 35, 37, 40% closing rate. Hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, and let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see more. And yeah, see you in the next one.